Hey, welcome in everybody. Tuesday night here at WCNC at your live weather impact. It is December 9th. We have got a little bit to talk about tonight. Cold temperatures, some interesting things happened today. We're going to talk about maybe some more northwest flow snow for the mountains only, and really just the mountains and nobody else. Typical mountain setup that we see every winter, and maybe a brief warm up by the weekend. But let's start with a view outside tonight, our Mr. Sparky camera network. You can see we've got skies beginning to clear across the area. Pretty nice night out there. It is quite chilly though. Those temperatures really never warmed up much today. And in fact, the current satellite imagery still showing some high clouds out there, which is going to keep things kind of on the cool side here through the evening hours. We'll try to show it to you. Our computer will cooperate with us. So we've got those high clouds scooting across the sky right now. They're beginning to move out, which actually could set the stage for even colder air tonight, because we'll be able to radiate the little bit of heat that we got today, which wasn't a whole lot. Today was one of the cooler days of the entire season. In Charlotte, at least 41 and 28. So you can see no records, but also well below average for this time of year. 56 and 36 are our current average temperatures, so we were nowhere near that. Here we are at 6:30 in the evening. Things, again, cooling off out there. Some areas already back below freezing, especially across the northern tier of our counties, up into the mountains, foothills, northwest Piedmont, the Triad area where Tim is, they're at 32. Down into the upstate, temperatures still holding into the 70s. As we go through the evening hours, now I'm going to say it's not going to be quite as cold, but it's still chilly. We'll drop into the low 30s, likely a light freeze tonight. So just a heads up, when you get up tomorrow morning, you still need to bundle up, as those overnight low temperatures will be falling back to about 30, 31 degrees or so as we go through the overnight hours. But notice the southwest wind. So that's a sign of some big changes tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a really interesting day because we have a pretty strong, what we call Alberta Clipper heading our way. These Alberta Clippers are fast-moving frontal systems that come out of Alberta, Canada. We get a ton of them every winter. They produce northwest flow snow, some wind, and yes, colder temperatures behind them. But ahead of them, we get a big gust of southwest winds, kind of as the flow moves north. So tomorrow, ahead of this front, we could jump into the 50s, but notice the wind sustained at 16, could be much higher gusts. So it's an inflatable alert for your Wednesday, which means anybody with inflatables or Christmas decorations that aren't secured properly could be down the street. So just a heads up, this is going to be a super windy afternoon, and you're definitely going to want to take full precautions for those winds. And just to give you an idea of the winds, this is for the Charlotte area, but it really does include all of the Piedmont. 20s in the morning, but the gusts could peak around the low to mid 30s in the afternoon. And that's certainly more than enough to blow those decorations around. And if you haven't gotten all the leaves off your trees yet, trust me, they're going to be off by tomorrow, because look at these winds. Futurecast winds across the entire area shows the southwest winds picking up. And again, those gusts, a few spots get close to 40 there. So really howling. Then the front moves through. The wind shifts to the northwest. It's still breezy for most of us, but in the mountains, it'll be howling. Could see near blizzard conditions Wednesday night and the Thursday morning, because yes, there will be snow up in the mountains, so your typical northwest flow. So let me kind of explain what's going on. I posted on Facebook about this, and everyone's asking me about snow everywhere. Remember, these northwest flow events do not affect the Piedmont. You see zero snow east of the mountains. Even in the mountains, the eastern facing slopes get almost no snow compared to the northwest facing side. So when you look at this, you'll see dry as a bone east of the mountains, but because this flow is coming off the Great Lakes, that moisture gets down and deposits itself on all of the northwest facing slopes of the mountains. Sometimes we see a ton of snow over in Beach and Sugar Mountain, but then you go over to like Blowing Rock and there's almost no snow. That's the kind of setup we have here. Could see some additional snow going into Friday with this setup. So here's a kind of explainer. The flow comes in from the northwest, the moisture gets picked up, and it all gets dumped on the west or northwest facing side. And on the other side, we get basically what's called a rain shadow, or in this case, a snow shadow. The air sinks, it warms, it dries, and so there's no snow east of the mountains, even in the mountains. So if you're in like Hickory, Shelby, Gastonia, Charlotte, anywhere in the Piedmont, Statesville, Mooresville, Matthews, Concord, no snow, zero, zilch, nada. That is not the kind of setup we see with this. So when we look at our futurecast, you'll kind of see how this unfolds here. Strong southwest winds tomorrow. There's the brief rain snow mix, which changes to all snow in the mountains. And look where the snow is. It's nowhere near the Piedmont, okay? This is all up in the mountains, so right here. This is where the snow falls. 0 here, okay? So this is where we see it in the setup. So when you hear about this, don't think it's snowing where you are. Seems to be a lot of confusion now. Every time we talk about snow anywhere in the Carolinas, everyone thinks it's happening every square inch. It's not the case, certainly not with this setup. And I'll show you where the snow will fall. This is our snowfall potential map. Shows those areas right on the Tennessee line. So from Bryson City to Mount LeConte in the Smokies, Rowan Mountain, Beech Mountain, Sugar Mountain, areas up towards Mount Rogers, Howard's Knob, those are areas. On the eastern side of the mountains, almost none. So you get towards Lenoir, Morganton, Hickory. There's sometimes, if we get a really strong event like this, we can get some of that break containment, we call it. But in this case, I'm not expecting anything to be remotely close to making it over the mountains. Now, looking at the long range pattern, we have a warm up for the end of this week into the weekend, but then another cool down for early next week. So that's going to set the stage for cooler than average temperatures as we go from the 15th through the 19th. So this just includes those dates. It's not from now to then, it's just the 15th through the 19th. So below average, which by then is like low 50s, upper 40s, because the average high is in the mid 50s. So the weekend, enjoy this. It's going to be gorgeous. I mean, temperatures Saturday pushing 60 degrees. Sunday will be in the mid 30s, maybe mid to low 50s with morning lows in the 40s and 50s. So it could be a really warm weekend compared to what we've had recently. And I say warm because it's all compared to how cool it's been so far here in early December, which has been incredibly cool to start, but actually not as cool as last year. So we'll see if it trends like last year. Last year we started super cold and then it turned warm. So we'll see if this pattern flips anytime soon. So here's a quick look at your Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day. We'll show you that first. Notice temperatures again. Wednesday, pretty warm, mid 50s. Thursday, Friday, a little bit of a dip back into the 40s. That's behind that clipper system. And then Saturday, it's really warm Saturday and Sunday because that's ahead of the next front, which will be coming down here pretty quickly for Sunday. So temperatures jump into the 60s and 50s. And then we'll show you the 10-day forecast because this gets us all the way through the 19th. And you notice temperatures kind of warming up at the tail end of the 10-day. The 18th and 19th, we're back close to 60 degrees. So the reason I think we're seeing that cooling trend in the 6 to 10 day outlook is because of this cold snap right there. But going towards the 19th, this might be a sign of a big flip in the pattern to maybe slightly warmer for Christmas. So it's a little early to start forecasting Christmas, but if you're wondering, the trends look like it's probably going to be mild, or at least going into Christmas that week before. We'll see if it flips right for Christmas and after. Of course, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the big snow that happened on this date back in 2018, and we'll also talk about something called feeder snow.